Sweet Lord, receive all I have and possess.
Welcome to Listening to Catholic Women, a special series sponsored by the Archdiocese of Boston. Each week, join Bishop Mark O'Connell as he engages in heartfelt conversations with inspiring Catholic women. Together, we'll hear about their faith journeys and how they live out God's call in their lives. Stay with us for an uplifting journey of reflection and inspiration.
Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me.
Hello and welcome to Listening to Catholic Women. I'm Bishop Mark O'Connell. Today we have Sister Barbara Gutierrez, who's a sister of Notre Dame de Namur.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, Sister, how does a person born in Mexico become a marine biologist and then a religious sister?
Because of the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Okay, we have to unpack this whole thing. But you came to your religious vocation after a whole career. Yeah. So let's go back to the origin of your faith. Were you born a Catholic, and how did you discover your own faith?
I was born Catholic, as you said, in Mexico City, and I started like most people do in the domestic church. It was my mom and my dad. They were devout Catholics. And it was easy because my mom, every time we went to church, my mom will answer all our questions, regardless. She was very patient. And a question that I ask often is the Christ, that particular Christ that was in our church had blood on his knees. Jesus had blood on his knees. So I really identify with that.
So you had all sorts of questions as a kid about Jesus's bloody knees.
That's it, because I grew up with 3 older brothers, so that was my case often. I was falling, I was fighting, I tried to follow them, so I was always get stuck somewhere or they will push me. So I had something in common with Jesus, and that was it, bloody knees.
Okay, so you remember what you call domestic church is kind of a churchy way of saying the church begins in the family.
Yes.
And that was clearly with your parents. And so did you have just remained Catholic since then, or did it grow?
So this is interesting. I believe I established a relationship with Jesus right at the beginning. You know, it might be just that we both had bloody knees, but it
Okay.
was a relationship.
Yeah.
I walk away from the church when I was a teenager. I shouldn't say walk away. I didn't go to mass. I didn't want to go to confession. But I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And then I became a teenager. I have the fortune to do a lot of things. I was a typical teenager. I spend time at home. I will go to parties at that time, the parties that teenagers have. But I did a lot with my brothers. I did camping, rock climbing, cave speleology, which is just going into caves, scuba diving. And so I was a teenager that had the opportunity to do a lot of things. And my relationship with God was there.
When did you
time.
first discover a kind of a more profound faith?
It was the time when I went back to church, not because anyone told me to go, but because I wanted to go. I went climbing with other 2 girls, the other 2 friends, rock climbing, and we have a little accident. And I really thought one of us was going to die, and all I was thinking is like, oh, gosh, what am I going to tell to her parents? But everything went well. I went down and helped her to get back on the rock, and I went to say thank you to God, thank you to Jesus, and that experience was so profound. Not asking for anything, just saying thank you. that I went back.
So she had a falling. You thought she was going to die. You prayed to God and you went to say thank you. Where'd you go to say thank you?
To the church. There was a church near the. This was with the Girl Scouts in Mexico, the Boy Scouts. There was when we went back to left the equipment in the place. There was a church about 2 blocks away from there. So
So you went there on your own.
on my own. And then I went to college. I was the only one in my family who went to college away from home. I went to the north of the country in Sinaloa, and my faith stayed with me. I went to Mass often, prayed to God. It was hard to be away from my family, and really I find my comfort in my relationship with God once again.
So you didn't go to college to become a religious sister. That came much later.
Yes.
You went to college to be what?
A marine biologist.
And you became one.
I am a marine biologist. That's my degree. My first job after graduation was with the Central Bank in Mexico. They needed biologists to supervise fishery credits, fishery loans.
Mhm.
So after studying really hard, I mean, they did a selection at a national level. I was selected, and after very demanding training and interviews and psychological tests, and they interviewed my family. I was going to be managing millions of pesos in loans. I worked for them, and then I left because I needed to get my degree, and my thesis was halfway done. So I complete and defend my thesis, and I got my degree. And then because that experience with the bank, I became a business consultant.
Mhm.
And from business consulting, I started working then in the in a project that worked in human resources with a company, and I love human resources. I got into consulting on human resources, and then I got a job offer to come to the United States, and I talked to my family, and I said, well, I'm going to go and see. I'm going to go for a few years, and I'm still here.
What part of the United States did you go to?
So the company offered me a job in Boston, and then I worked for a different company in Houston, Atlanta, Georgia, and then Atlanta, Georgia, and then I came back to Boston. And during that time, it's important to say that, again, my faith was strong. My relationship with God was strong. My relationship with Jesus. That was what helped me to be in new places, to be meeting new people. And I always joined the young adult groups in the parishes that I belonged to. So it was because there were 2 reasons, I guess, that when I got my call, I just didn't shut it down. I didn't dismiss it. I listened and I discerned. One of them is that I was active with the young adult groups. I was practicing my faith. So I think when I got it, I knew it was scary, but I knew I needed to give it a thought, discern. The other reason is since I was a teenager, because all the things that I did, and I have this nice, loving, supporting family, I knew I was lucky. I knew my parents were not divorced. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had what we needed. Again, my parents were very supportive. Like when I went away for college, they trusted me, and I was grateful for that. But I also was grateful for all the experiences: scuba diving, rock climbing. Every time I would get to the top of a mountain, was this feeling of seeing just the greatness of God, like creation. So I I have always been a grateful person.
So you didn't have a mother saying, when are you going to get married?
Yes, that's actually a really good story, and I tell you in a minute. But because I was grateful, and one of my older brothers and I were always talking about how lucky we were and what we wanted to transcend, and what are we going to leave to this world? What are we going to bequeath the world, right? What are we going to? We always thought, that quote, like, we have to leave the world a little bit better than how we found it.
I love this. What are we going to bequeath the world? That's wow. Okay.
So I always thought, what am I supposed to do with my life? And I remember telling my mom, if I died now, I know you're going to cry and I know you're going to be sad, but don't be too sad because God has given me so much. I can see it with my friends, all the things that I did that other girls of my age didn't do. I just felt I was really lucky. So I was grateful, but I always say that, like, what am I supposed to do with my life? There has to be something else. And so when I was working in human resources and I was successful and I got my call, I always was thinking, is this it? There has to be something else. So when my call came, that probably was one of the reasons why I really discern about it.
Okay. So now we'll talk about your call. I put in a flippant thing about your mother. So your call is to religious life. Was it specifically to the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur?
Well, I looked at 3 different congregations. And one of my companions when I was discerning was Monsignor Dennis.
Oh.
I
yes.
love him. He was so good. And
May he rest in peace.
yes, indeed. And I knew, maybe because my experience and my upbringing, I knew I was looking for a congregation that really will allow me to be with the people. So it had to be an apostolic congregation that will allow me to be with the people where the people are, in the margins. I was blown away by the things that they have done. I was already a novice when I learned that we are an NGO. I said, what? How did I didn't know that. So, but we are. One of our sisters from Congo works at the United Nations full time.
So that's non-government organization, right?
And
yeah.
yes,
Go ahead.
non-governmental organization. So I just was blown away by the things they have done, the open schools, education. One of them always said, we will never be poor because we are educated women. And it's true. I mean, just empowering people through education. And then I start right after my novitiate. After the mandatory time in the canonical year and the ministry year, I work in Notre Dame Cristo Rey. And I witnessed firsthand what is to change lives.
Okay, so explain what is Notre Dame Cristo Rey School.
So it's a Cristo Rey model school. The Cristo Rey model, a network, was founded by the Jesuits. And it's a school where students work 1 day a week and study 4 days a week. With what they earn from their job, they contribute to their tuition. So it's really, the families really pay very little. And the students complete the high school with an incredible business experience, work experience that serves them really well. And the school, since its beginnings, have had 100% college acceptance.
Wow. And what do you do? What did you do for them?
I was director of admissions.
Oh, okay.
And I left that. I came to religious life with a strong business experience, but I didn't have any theological background. So I went to this Boston College to earn a master's in theology and ministry.
Mhm.
That's why I left Cristo Rey. But again, it's just I came to Notre Dame de Namur because their history, because their work with people in the margins, at all levels of society. But I stay with the sisters, and even today, because they bring out the best in me.
Mhm.
I enter when I realized that I really wanted to be a better person when I was around them, and they continue to do that. They inspire me. They push me. They support the creativity of all the sisters. But what are we going to do now? We're not teaching in the schools. Maybe we don't have enough sisters to open shelters, but we're working with immigrant families, with asylum seekers. We are supporting a family directly who to leave, to integrate into the society in the United States. We have a big initiative in Laudato Si. So they continue to inspire me every day. And what I find in Sisters of Notre Dame is how they live the gospel. We live the gospel, and is in our relationships with our brothers and sisters.
Okay, so you became and have been a religious sister for years now, and you work here in the Archdiocese of Boston in the clergy personnel. So you help the Archbishop help his priests, both people, Boston priests, and those from outside, get settled and find a place and are comfortable in their homes.
Yes.
Pretty much?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's complicated. Yeah.
It is complicated. So I work with clergy personnel. One of the things that I do is immigration. And immigration is changing a lot currently. Making sure that who are the priests who could travel, who are the priests that really shouldn't be traveling, making sure that the visas are approved, making sure that the passports are okay. So it's a lot of follow-up, even when they come back, just to make sure that their dates are current. It's a lot of work, and also welcoming the priests. We have many extern priests that we need them to serve our ethnic communities. Priests from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Mexico, from Brazil, and when they arrive,
lots of African priests,
and when they arrive, how do you work in the United States? How do you minister in the United States? They need support. Things are so foreign, from healthcare to payroll. So they need a lot of support, and that's what we do. One of the things that we do, we help them to settle.
So as you're discerning a vocation, you promised a story about your mother. So tell me about that.
So my mom was really good friends with my friends from college. And because I was doing business consulting, I was traveling a lot. So this is before cell phones. I'm giving away my age.
Okay.
So my friends will call my mom, say, where is she now? They will call, and my mom said, well, she's traveling. I just pray to God that she's going to find a good man and get married. And my friends will say, can you pray for me too? So there were like 4 on the list, that they will call my mom periodically. Can you pray for me too? And one day my mom said to me, you manage your solitude really well. I don't pray for you to find a man anymore. I pray that you will be happy. That's what I pray to God. So I said, well, you have to let the other ones on the list know. Because, they might not want to be on the list anymore, Mom. So
did the other ones get married?
Two of them did.
All right, so she's
Yeah,
she's batting 500.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love
2 out of
that
3.
statement from your mother. She recognized you were on your own journey, and she respected that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was talking earlier about supporting parents. I'm grateful for that.
Thank you for explaining it. It's an important job to straighten out all us priests and clergy personnel. So thank you for doing it
Yes.
and welcoming the extern priests that you do so beautifully. Do you have any reflections on being a woman who works in the leadership of the church?
Well, I'm grateful. I'm again, I'm a very grateful person. Maybe I'm not so shocked to say, oh, I'm working in the Archdiocese of Boston, because the congregation that I belong to, Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, there have been sisters working here. I think one of us was superintendent of Catholic schools for a while. The sisters are very well prepared, highly educated women who have done amazing things. I'm happy that I can do this work here. I think of Vatican II. I think of Pope Francis. It's just, for me, I don't know if the word is inspiring. It just feeds my soul to see the appointments that he did in the Vatican. The governor of the Vatican, or Sister Bambrilla, who's the head of the dicastery of religious orders. And that is possible because of that. The bringing is still, it is still a consequence of opening the doors that, Pope John the 23rd said, let's open the doors of the church, let the air in. So I'm grateful for that. And I was talking to my boss the other day. My boss is Father Paul Soper.
My best friend. Keep going.
Yes. And I said to him, it's because that I can be here working with you. So it is a good experience. I am aware of my role, of sometimes I don't think it's influence, but my opinions that are given in meetings. I love my team. I love my job. I wake up and I can't wait to come to work. And that's because I have an incredible boss who is really supporting of his team and inclusive and prayerful and pastoral.
So you're comfortable here at this part in your life. I'm delighted because we're very happy with you. But let's talk about times that you had difficulty and when your faith got you through a moment. Do you have a moment like that you can share?
Yes. Well, I shared I guess the first one that I remember is going back to church, right? My friend didn't die when we were rock climbing. I lost a brother, this brother that we used to have these spiritual conversations about what are we going to do with our lives. He died in a car accident.
Oh.
It's many years ago. And I remember after we were all busy doing things before the funeral. And I do remember when I went back, we went back home after the burial. I helped my parents to get in bed. I made some tea for them. I helped my brother. At that time, only my youngest brother, and I had gone back to live in my parents' house. So my brother had been doing a lot of paperwork. I make sure that he was also resting and check the voicemails. That was the time when you have the little machine.
Got it.
The cassette. I did everything. I had been so busy. But when I got in my room and I turned off the light, everything came down. And I remember asking out loud, is this pain ever gonna go away? And at that moment, Jesus was next to me. It was a real presence sitting next to me in my bed. And I have never forgotten that. I compare it, you know, those Halloween costumes, people who dress like a bathtub that had a curtain around
Oh,
them.
okay.
You
Yeah.
know, the curtain shower around them. I believe
So you were surrounded.
many of us raise a curtain, raise that barrier when we are busy, when we are anxious, when we are just going through life without stopping, without thinking, without having that relationship with God. And when pain or a traumatic situation brings that curtain down, I realize that God has been there the whole time.
Mm.
And that's what happened to me that night.
So you still carry that loss, but it did get better.
Absolutely. As much as sometimes I miss him and I said, am I the person that you hope I will become? Am I making you proud? But I know he's fine. I know he's with God. And I don't think I had a time in my life when I really lost my faith, when I said, oh, God, where were you? And it's, again, gratitude. I always been grateful for having him as a brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful to God. I went back. I went back to live to my parents' house, as I mentioned, and we did a lot of things together. We were camping. We were again cave exploring caves, and so we did a lot in 3 months before he passed away. So I'm grateful for that.
So that was a difficult moment that when the curtain came down, you felt God's presence. Is there a moment that you can share that's like a high moment of faith, like a mountaintop experience where you felt really close to God, that he was loving you?
I did have experience once in Mexico, but I don't know that my experience with God are like jumping and it's not like, oh God, you are here, have five. No, it's more an experience that you are here, and it's not easy to following you. It's what you are asking is not always easy, but you are here. About, I don't know, 4 years after entering Notre Dame, I went to visit my family in Mexico, and I was walking in one of the streets in Mexico City. I was walking to the subway, and there was this elderly woman begging, asking for alms. And she reminded me my grandmother had long braided white hair. She was dressed like an Indian with a rebozo. And I just looked at her, and I was going to give her some money, but then I went before that. I got some water, and I squat down. Yeah,
Squat?
I squat down,
Yeah.
To meet her eye to eye. And I gave her the water, and I gave her some money. And the way she looked at me, that I don't think those were her eyes, honestly.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I felt this is what it means to find Jesus on the other. It was a very strong experience again. So I knew Jesus was there. Just coming and ask someone, how are you doing today? And that was really, really powerful. And that was, again, the first time I said, okay, this is what it meant to find Jesus in your sisters and your brothers.
You have a beautiful practical faith, which I admire. I want to talk about silence. You're always on the go when I see you. I always have things to do and people to go. And I know you have a whole bunch of duties as a sister at Notre Dame de Moor for the community. So you're a busy woman. How do you find the ability to be silent in your life?
Contemplative prayer. And I said this to people often when I love giving retreats. And I tell people our relationship with God is similar to our relationship with a friend. If we go and visit our friend, we have dinner with a friend and we keep talking the whole dinner, and we don't let our friend to say a word, that relationship is not going to go far. And I think it's the same with God. It's like we talk there, we do a lot of prayers, we ask for a lot of people. But if we don't stop and say, okay, what do you have to say to me? That's when the relationship grows. That's what I believe. So contemplative prayer at night, and God talks.
Yeah. Now, and you say that with great experience. There are people who never tried that, perhaps grew up looking at the phone and the screen. And have you been able to help some people that are so inwardly focused to find God in your retreats and in your work?
I hope so. I mean, some people come back and tell me, some people send messages, thank you for this, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
We share what we have, right? That's what Jesus said. Freely you have received, freely you have to give it. Yeah. And that's it. How far any sharing that we do is going to go, we don't know. Again, it's the Holy Spirit. So I hope so.
I'm sure of it. Tell me, do you have a holy person in your life or a saint that you want to, that inspires you?
Well, there are many, obviously. Saint Julie Billiard, obviously, the foundress of Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur. Saint Julie was 53 when she started the congregation. And she was very practical. She asked sisters in the community, write to me. And she would tell everyone to write to her. So it was interesting because she was getting the account from every member in the community. So she really got the scoop of what was happening, the scope of what was happening, right? Very practical. I remember reading a letter to one of the sisters that said, you are not reading to me and you are telling me that's because you don't have time because the night prayers are too long. Well, you should have told me. I'm going to dispense you from the night prayer so you can write to me and tell me how are things in the school. And, she was the head of the community. So very practical. And she had a strong Jesuit spirituality. Her spiritual director was Jesuit. So obviously, was a Jesuit. Obviously, Saint Julie Billiard. But another one that I admire is Hildegard of Bingen.
Hildegard of?
Bingen.
Bingen. I didn't know that
Doctor
part
of the church.
Okay, but I know the Hildegard, but I didn't know the...
Hildegard von Bingen, or
okay.
Hildegard of Bingen.
Yeah.
Is a doctor of the church, German. She was born in the 1100s. I think actually she was born in 1098. Incredible. I mean, wrote so many books about health issues. She knew how to cure with herbs. Writer. Wrote music. If you listen to the music today, is beautiful. Preach. She got permission from the Pope to go and preach in tours.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she established monasteries. Had a very interesting relationship with God, and made it known to people. So Hildegard of Bingen is one of my favorites.
All right. So those are two that inspired you. In your moments where you're speaking to God, is it in English or Spanish?
Both.
You do both now?
Yeah. I think I do more in English than in Spanish.
Huh. So when you're reciting prayers, are they Spanish prayers or English prayers?
English.
Oh, okay.
Now and then do a Spanish. Like if I go to Mexico and I'm on vacation, I go back to my Spanish. When it still happens. If I want to pray the rosary and I'm in a hurry, I'm going to do it in English because it's way faster than in Spanish. And my spiritual director years and years ago said, I wonder what Our Lady of Guadalupe think about it, think about that.
Yeah.
Um,
How about God speaking to you? Is it no language, or is it English? Is it Spanish?
I don't know. I'm gonna pay more attention next time I hear something.
Or is it just a
It's
feeling in
just,
your heart?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
calling someone, being kinder to someone, take care of something.
Yeah.
It's just,
Kind of
yeah.
a weird question, but I'm not bilingual like you, and
Yeah.
so I don't.
What I can tell you is that my Latino spirituality, I think I can connect really good with our Latino communities, like Father Nicanor Vivas in the
Yeah.
Archdiocese of Boston. He did the Passion on the Stations of the Cross on Good Friday.
Mhm.
And seeing the people, the Latino spirituality is a lot of seeing, creating, touching,
Mhm.
feeling. And I have a Jesuit friend who says Latino spirituality is based on Good Friday. American spirituality is based on Easter.
Oh, that's very interesting.
And
Tell me more about. So Latinos' faith is based on Good Friday, and American faith is based on Easter Sunday.
that's how he
So the suffering of
mentioned
Good
it.
Friday.
But it's the suffering of Good Friday because that people know. That's why people need to go in the procession and tell Jesus, I'm here with you. I'm here in the middle of your pain because you have been with us in the middle of a pain. It's people who have suffered so much, continues to suffer.
Mhm.
There are so many mothers in Latin America that have lost their children, that have disappeared. I cannot think of anything worse than not knowing what your child is.
Yeah.
If it's dead, you know it's dead, but
Mm.
not knowing. So the suffering of the people, they know that Jesus in his humanity has been walking with them, and his divinity is helping them. But that's a lot of the Day of the Dead that people misunderstood a lot, and it's a
So-
celebration that is deeply Catholic.
Well, so you need to explain the Day of the Dead, because
So the Day of the Dead is El Día de los Muertos, and we celebrate it in Mexico November 1st and November 2nd. And it is true that the origins are pre-Hispanic, but when the Franciscans, friars, and the Augustinians, the Dominicans came to Mexico, they merged it into All Souls, right? And it's a beautiful celebration where we honor the memory of those who have gone before us. And we honor it visiting the cemetery. Many people bring food, spend the night in the cemetery. And again, it's that intensity that I'm not going to pray for my person who's dead, for my relative. I'm going to go and spend the night in the cemetery, praying there, bringing food. And it might sound crazy for some people, but I've been there. I visited one of the most famous celebrations, and it's really powerful to see the people. I'm there. It's very, and everything has a significance in the altar, but it's a beautiful celebration.
So, if you would, I'd like you to speak to a young man or woman who is discerning what are they going to do with their life, and is also attracted to the church. Is there anything you can speak right to their heart?
I'm going to start by saying religious life is underrated.
Yes, no, that's perfect.
If anyone is considering religious life, or if anyone is wondering, is there something else to this? What am I supposed to do with my life? And they have a strong relationship with God, a strong relationship with Jesus. Discern. Don't be afraid. Discernment is difficult, and discernment could be very painful, but discernment is also beautiful. It took me 3 years to say yes to God. And I remember the day I said yes, I experienced a peace that I have never experienced again. I have grown as a woman. I have grown as a person. I have grown as a human being. My spirituality has grown. My faith is stronger because I live with this incredible community of sisters. And what we can give to God with a group of people who are looking the same, living the gospel, amplifies, and it just has infinite possibilities when we are together. So my recommendation to anyone, it might not be, discernment doesn't mean that they are going to enter religious life. Discernment is to say, okay, yes or no. And if it's no, that's okay. But the discernment time always will make people grow and bring wisdom to them.
Beautiful. Thank you, sister. And I know that your brother would want to know what you're going to bequeath to the world. But I think what you're doing is very beautiful, and I thank you for sharing it on this program and in the Archdiocese of Boston.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Your love and your grace are enough for me.
Thank you for joining us on Listening to Catholic Women. We're grateful you took the time to hear this inspiring faith journey. Continue exploring these powerful stories with Bishop Mark O'Connell by watching more episodes. This series is sponsored by the Archdiocese of Boston and produced by Emma Lula Creative. Please like, subscribe, and share to spread the word. If you'd like to support the production of this series, visit the link in the description. Until next time, may God bless you.